And there's a brand new show on Netflix that hit a few weeks ago, man. Let's talk about it. What we got up first for him?
Yeah, so there's this comic book called Raising Dion. Raising Dion. So this comic book was written by the one and only Dennis Liu, I believe is how you say his name, Dennis Liu. And it's a comic about a black mother trying to raise her son, and her son has superpowers. And she's attempting to raise her son after her husband goes missing. But then, not until after her husband goes missing is when she discovers that her son has powers. So a lot happens in this time.
That's crazy,
right?
man. Yeah.
Like, you just randomly became the single mother. Now you got this boy, Dion, who's supposed to be 7 years old, who developed these superpowers. There's a lot going on. So Netflix has adapted this comic book, Raising Dion, also directed by Dennis Liu, which is crazy because a lot of times you don't see comic book creators directing.
You really never see that. You know, that's kind of unique to have somebody who created the initial story, the source material, to transition into actually, you know, becoming like a filmmaker.
Yeah, like imagine if J.K. Rowling directed all of Harry Potter. It probably would. I don't know if it would have went well.
Yeah,
but
we really don't know.
We don't know, but that's still an interesting thought, though, right? And so we get Dennis Liu here to direct Raising Dion, this new Netflix series about this woman, this black mother again, played by Alicia Wainwright, who does a great job.
Oh yeah,
I believe throughout this entire series. And so I just wanted to reiterate that Raising Dion is only one comic right now. It's like a volume, kind of like Watchmen's a volume.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like a lot hasn't happened. Like everything you see is like it.
Yeah, like this is all that we got right now.
Like, I think this is it.
Got you.
I don't know if he's gonna make more, but yeah.
I would hope so. After like, you know, the show's now hit, like I would hope that he would actually, Dennis, like, would want to continue the story. I'm only halfway through, you know, this season right now, so I'm not even sure of like where we end off with the show, at least in terms of like right now. But I would certainly hope that you know, I mean, it's compelling enough to keep going, I imagine. I think that there could be a lot more there. So, I mean, that would be great if we can just, you know, continue to push out the comics and do more to, you know, with that. And then, like, hopefully that can develop into more seasons, you know,
for sure.
For the show.
So you like it?
Oh, man. It's been, like I said, I'm only halfway through right now, like episode 4. I'm about to get into episode 5. I'm actually probably going to finish it tonight after we're done recording. No, it's been incredible so far. I mean, all the stuff you mentioned about just, like, you know, Alicia, who plays Nicole, you know, her raising, you know, her son by herself, you know, and she's dealing with, you know, not only that hardship, because it is really hard for her because she's unemployed for a long time and stuff like that. But now that she's discovered her son has these superpowers, and you can imagine he's 7 years old. He's just discovering this himself. He really doesn't have control over that. You know, he doesn't know how to harness that power necessarily when he discovers it. So it's almost a traumatic experience because he's confused, she's confused. They're, you know, sort of finding out the answers along the way. And now that he has these superpowers, I mean, he's already a young black boy, which is something that she has to deal with as a single mother now, to raise him in society and to, you know, deal with the realities that come with being, you know, a young black boy or a young black man in this country. But on top of that, he has superpowers, when people discover that, their initial thought is to not embrace him. They're going to be fearful, you know, more than what they already are. So I think just from that perspective alone, it brought me in, and what I've seen so far, like within the first 4 episodes, it's been incredible. I'm so excited to you know, finish it and get through it and see where the story goes.
Yeah, man. And she ain't got no job.
Oh God, that I'm like, we gonna make it real hard for her. Huh?
She's like literally searching for a job where all this is going on, and it just blows my mind.
Yeah, lost her husband. You know, it's just, there's a lot there, and that, you know, that's the premise of like the show of like where we are so far. I mean, we won't get into like too many more details.
Yeah, I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah, that's the framework of like how it starts, right? Like when you get into the show, this is the information that you have, and so you can just imagine, you know, where that goes. But definitely, you know, watch it and, you know, sort of see how the story unfolds. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a really strong testament to just, I mean, not only seeing like this comic book adaptation come to a streaming platform, and it's getting a lot of notoriety right now, but it's sort of reinforcing like this idea of just like the power of like black women.
Oh yeah.
And just like how strong they are, and just like how much they have to overcome. Which is certainly not always like fair, for sure, like that they have to deal with so many hardships, and like I think we can kind of unpack that and see what it looks like. But I think it's really important that we're telling this specific story right now.
Yeah, man, for sure. Again, I did want to take the time to address this reoccurring theme of this year, as Black women have just continuously been breaking barriers, right?
All the time.
To what it means to be a Black woman, not only in the entertainment space, but even more notably in this comic entertainment, genre that we've been going through, right? Mm-hmm. This renaissance of Black women in comic books. Although Raising Dion, of course, like we said, is about this mother whose son have powers that, you can't help but feel like really this TV show is about her resilience and her strength that this woman, Nicole, exhibits throughout the first season of the series. Mm-hmm. Again, she doesn't have a job. Her husband's missing, presumed dead. Her husband her son has these crazy powers that came out of nowhere. And her sister yells at her constantly.
Oh, my God.
All the time.
So hard on her.
And she still never folds, right? And I've had different conversations with people throughout these couple years, actually, where we discuss different spaces where we talk about Black women in the superhero complex, right? Mm-hmm. Where when people call Black women superheroes, they feel like it dehumanizes them. Mm. But what I want to reiterate here specifically is that when I make this comparison, it's not to dehumanize, right, when I call Black women a superhero, but rather to serve as a hyperbole and slight dramatization to express how I feel about the most beautiful and powerful people in the world to me, right? So throughout history, Black women never desired to be saviors, right? Like this idea of a superhero is that you have to save, right? And Black women do not desire to be saviors. Rather, they feel like, or rather, it is a fact that they've always been deeply affected by the systematic oppression that exists in this country, right? Yeah. And therefore, their activism is a form of survival.
Right.
And I understand and welcome Black women that you can be vulnerable. And I understand that Black women, you need protection too, right? Because I know a lot of Black women I talk to about this who don't like to be called superheroes, right? Yeah. They're like, but who's going to protect us?
Exactly. It's to your point, they don't ask for this sort of title, this sort of recognition. Like it's thrust on them almost like by circumstance, just by, things that have systematically happened throughout time. And they have to consistently fight and overcome these damn near insurmountable challenges over and over and over when, like you mentioned, they should not have to. They did not ask for this complex or this title. Right. And then also, again, like who is watching out for them? Who is protecting them in these situations? That's profound, I would say.
It's crazy, man. I guess with that being said, back to Raising Dion, where I want people to understand that what makes this comic book and series something special, right, is to watch this Black woman who exemplifies, to me, what I personally mean when I call Black women a superhero, right? She may not have any superpowers, but the way she handles everything, you could have fooled me.
Oh my goodness. Overcoming everything put in front of her, right?
You could have fooled me.
Yeah.
Plus she's fine too, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness.
But, but she also got a lot of criticism for looking like Alicia Keys, fun fact.
Wait, what?
She looks just like Alicia Keys. The entire series, I was looking at this woman like, you look a lot like Alicia Keys.
Does she though?
Yeah, bro.
She
does.
I think sometimes like the way
that
they've like styled her hair.
Sometimes sometimes people be like, oh, they light skinned and curly, they don't look alike. No, but this one does. Yeah. Like she looks like Alicia Keys.
I didn't think about that.
Like for real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to acknowledge this trend of Black women in nerdom, right? Because it's been
coming hard.
Man, it's been something amazing recently, and I don't think we've said enough about it, right?
Yeah.
So we have your Zoe Kravitz's.
That's true. Where just got cast as Catwoman.
Well, we talked about it last week. Zoe Kravitz landed the role as Catwoman in Matt Reeves' 2021 Batman.
Yep.
The third Black woman to do so behind Eartha Kitt and Halle Berry.
Yep.
And she has the chance to be the best.
There's a legacy there, and she definitely has now been provided the opportunity and the platform, which I think she will. I think she's gonna bring something not only unique and different to the role, but just also a different dimension to the character that we haven't seen.
I actually think this might be the chance for her to have the biggest role she's ever had. Because technically her resume is amazing, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like, man, Zoe Kravitz was amazing, so this movie's amazing. Mm-hmm. It was like Zoe Kravitz was in the background of Mad Max. Right. Zoe Kravitz just happened to be a character in Dope, right?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that.
This is an opportunity for her to like really, have. I mean, it's going to be a big budget movie with a huge cast. It's really large scale implications for it, and so she's now featured as one of the most iconic female heroines, you know, of all time. So yeah, I agree. I think this might be like, I don't want to say breakthrough because she has been acting for a long time now. Yeah. She has like you say, a really impressive resume, but I mean, for lack of a better term, might be a breakthrough role for Zoe. So really looking forward to that.
Yes. Also, we have Storm. The legendary Storm, just in comic books in general. Although Storm has clearly been the front runner in terms of popularity for Black women in comic books, she has not lit up at all. Like, and now was just time to get the casting right? Like, it's time to get our dark-skinned African queen.
Because they've gotten it wrong for so long.
Like, even though people like Halle Berry, Storm is not Halle Berry.
No, it's not. You know, we love Halle, but she's not Storm.
If you find this African goddess, she should not be light skinned.
Yeah, she's not gonna look like Halle Berry.
She's not gonna look like Halle Berry or Alex Shipp.
Yep. Nah, love y'all, but like you say, miscasting. Like, we got to at least get that right first.
Yeah, that just ain't it, man. That just ain't it. Then we have Thunder and Lightning. China McClain as Lightning, Nefessa Williams as Thunder, and Christine Adams as Lynn Pierce, all in the show Black Lightning. Who they just run the show, right?
Oh, it's pretty much their show. Like.
Also, for whatever reason, a lot of people don't know that Lynn Pierce, the comic book character, right, whose maiden name is Lynn Stewart, is actually the sister of John Stewart, the Black Green Lantern. And yeah, for some reason, a lot of people don't know that. So I just thought I'd throw that fun fact.
Well, now you know.
Now you know. Then we got my favorite, Misty Knight, played by Simone Missick.
She did so good in that role.
So personally, for me, she is still overall my favorite. I think portrayal of a Black woman in any superhero show for me right now, or any superhero content in live action.
That's fair.
Like,
that's fair.
I've seen the most of her. Right. Yeah. Like, I probably besides Thunder and Lightning, she might have the most screen time.
Well, yeah, I mean, her characterization was very layered.
Yeah,
had a lot of complexities to her, and then also just like the relationships with characters around her. Yeah. In particular, like the men around her. Yeah, like the relationships she had with them. I mean, she always challenged, just perceptions and just like, what people thought about her, and like she always could defend herself, always was assertive and a go-getter when it came to like solving those different issues that came up in those shows. So like her, I thought that they did an incredible job with Misty Knight in those shows. It was Luke Cage, she was in Iron Fist for a little bit, Defenders. Had lots of screen time, was a really important character.
Every time she was on screen, it was almost my favorite, right?
Yeah.
And I also think she was like one of those characters that in my mind exemplified what I mean personally when I call a Black woman a superhero, because we seen her vulnerable at times, right? Like we would watch her walk into a room and cry for a second, or she would give us those sides that, maybe when other people call Black women superheroes that they don't think they can show, right?
Right. And like you could be all of those things.
Yeah, and I seen that in Misty Knight. That's what Misty Knight just, again, she's still my favorite until I see anything else different.
Yeah, I agree. She was cold.
And then we have Ava DuVernay, who's directing The New Gods.
Oh my goodness. First of all, like she as a filmmaker, phenomenal.
Just wild.
On top of the fact that she's literally a Black nerd, like she's really into this stuff. Like we've seen her many times, like on social media, just talk about how much of a fan she is of comic book characters. She goes to see these movies, right? She supports them. She even came for Martin Scorsese after he said what he said about Marvel.
I'm sure.
She's definitely a nerd in that sense, and so like she's directing New Gods. If you're not familiar with New Gods, there's a lot to talk about there. But
there's a lot of content.
It's going to be really really exciting to see her helm that project for DC.
She might be the first Black woman to direct a major studio comic book film.
I think so. Yeah,
that is groundbreaking.
Yeah, I can't think. I mean,
think about you literally have DC Marvel. Where's the Black woman director?
At? I mean, Patty Jenkins from Wonder Woman was kind of the first woman to direct a big budget one. So
and then you had Captain Marvel.
I forget her name right now. It was two directors, but one of them was a woman. Yeah, but we haven't really
Black woman.
Yeah, like a Black woman. This is
this is the one. Yeah, bro. Ava. Yeah. That's all I got.
She's going to knock it out the park, I feel like. Like, if they can get the movie off the ground, which I feel like they will, I think DC is heading in a really good direction.
Yeah.
Like, and New Gods, again, is like, it's probably the weirdest shit you can find in comics. It's
one of them.
It's so crazy, and it's so Jack Kirby. Like his influence is all over it. He created this ragtag of characters. If they can pull that off, and if she can really deliver something that we haven't seen before, oh man, I'm just gonna be so excited.
Because in my mind, this is New Gods and Eternals is going to go head to head to me, right? Like,
Low-key.
that's the vibe that both these comic books give off, right? These weird characters in space.
And if they work, it's gonna be game changing. I mean, every time a new superhero movie comes out, like, it almost seems like it's changing the game in some sense. Like, you have like Into the Spider-Verse, that was a kind of a game changer, or even like a Joker, that was kind of a game changer. So like, I feel like we're just continuing this trend, like, and like you mentioned, those two movies in particular, New Gods and Eternals, again, just some of the weirdest stuff you'll find in comics. So those come into the big screen, and we're going to see some new characters that we've never seen before. Yeah. And Ava, in particular, is going to bring this one to life. It's going to be glorious. I can't wait.
Yeah, man, she's got it down pat. Then now we have, in just comics, not necessarily TV show or anything, just comics, the main character of the current Star Wars saga, Star Wars Fallen Order, Dark Temple, is a series that serves as a prequel to the upcoming video game, Star Wars Fallen Order. This is all canon, by the way. It's a black woman. Her name is Padawan Seer Junda. And it's just,
I've heard of
I just remember seeing this issue 1 just sitting on the rack, and I was like, is this a black Jedi on the front of this issue of a Star Wars comic? I am picking this up.
We thought it was Finn, but they could kind of fake this out with that.
They faked this out.
But this is a real one.
I said, no,
black Jedi.
I am picking this up. Yeah. And she's easily the first black character to ever be a main focus of Star Wars anything, right? Finn's a side character. There's a couple other black people in the background sprinkled in, and some Mace Windu was, you know what I mean? Like, none of them, but she's like the main character of this comic that's canon, and it's super cool. Yeah. Then we got Riri Williams.
Oh yeah.
If you know me, you know I love me some Riri Williams, man. She's somewhat the protege of Iron Man, and she's actually smarter than Tony Stark. She's supposed to be smarter than Tony Stark.
Very much so.
Man, just if you don't know anything about literally Google Riri Williams, which people joked at the beginning was based off Rihanna.
Really? I don't know if I heard of that one.
Yeah, people joked a couple times that Riri Williams was based off Rihanna.
Well, I mean, if the shoe fits. I mean, you also, with that character, Riri has become so popular. Yeah. A lot of people are asking that Riri Williams gets brought into the MCU. Yeah. Right? Like, we've heard ever since, like, Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, like, if you've seen that movie, you know what happens to Tony. A lot of people have talked about, who takes up the Iron Man mantle from now on, and, like, if they were to go that route, like, here you have a comic book, an adaptation that could really work. And they've, Marvel, they've looked at a lot of, I think, more of their recent runs lately to pull in stuff. And so this Riri Williams storyline has become pretty popular. And so I would not be surprised if at some point down the line,
I'm just saying,
Marvel Studios decides to pull the trigger on that.
Hey, I be trying to put y'all on game. So y'all better go pick up some Riri's right now. Ironheart. Yeah. Written by Eve Ewing is crazy, y'all.
Check it out for sure.
Eve Ewing's already amazing, and she just brings Riri to life so well. But now we get this powerhouse.
Oh, man. I already know where you're going.
We get this powerhouse of a woman named Angela Abrams.
Let's go.
Just goodness. She's also known as Sister Night. Oh, man, just everything about her. From the new HBO series Watchmen.
Yep.